1:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Ramesh Piris and read by Indrani Senanayake. The headlines. The Election Commission Chairman says the nominations for the local government polls concluded successfully. The PUC-SL requests the public to minimize power usage during peak hours to provide continuous power supply during the AL examination. The advanced level exam will be worked off from today at 2,200 examination centres across the country. The HRCSL initiates inquiries into a complaint by the leaders of the indigenous community seeking constitutional recognition. An extraordinary gazette issued dismissing the mayor of the Kurunegala municipality. Sri Lanka's Biodiversity Secretariat says that 81 of the country's bird species are threatened with extinction. In international news, Russia advances towards 2 towns in Ukraine, Zaporizhia region. And in sports news, Australia Open 2023. Magda Linette reaches her final Grand Slam quarter-final with a shock defeat of 4th seed Carolina Garcia. The Election Commission Chairman Nimal G. Puncheva said that the submission of nominations of political parties and independent groups for this year's local government elections concluded successfully. He said that there has been no large-scale rejection of nominations. He also said that the rejections of nominations of major political parties have also not been reported. The Election Commission Chairman also said that there are a few nomination rejections of minor parties and independent groups that have not yet been received by the Election Head Office. The advanced level exam will be worked off at 2,200 examination centres across the country, which began this morning. Commissioner General of Examinations Amit Jayasundara said 331,709 students, including 278 196 school applicants, are scheduled to sit at the exam. 53,513 private applicants will also sit the 2022 A-level examination. Meanwhile, special arrangements have been made to transport students and examination staff to their respective GCE advanced level examination centres. Moreover, a total of 1,625 police officers will be on special duty during the GCE advanced level examination period. The 2022 GCE advanced level examination is scheduled to be held from today to the 17th of February. Moreover, the Examination Commissioner General said that an additional 10 minutes will be given to the students after the allotted time of 1 hour after giving the essay question paper. The Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission has initiated inquiries into a complaint by the leaders of the indigenous community seeking constitutional recognition and other rights. 10 leaders of the indigenous community, including Uruwarage Wanila Atto, went to the commission recently and lodged a complaint. The absence of constitutional recognition for the community, non-implementation of policies ensuring their socio-economic, cultural and civic rights, law enforcement without any sensitivity to the traditional rights of the Adivasi community, and criminalization of their traditional livelihood activities under the current laws are key concerns mentioned in the complaint. They have cited 10 state bodies as respondents. The Commission will have a meeting on the 27th of January to consider the complaints. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. We continue with local news. An extraordinary gazette announcement has been issued dismissing Tushara Sanjeeva Vitharana from his position as the mayor of the Kurunegala municipality by the governor of the Northwestern Province, Admiral of the Fleet, Vasantha Karanangoda. The reason for this has been cited as a defeat of the Kurunegala Municipal Council budget for the year 2023. It is stated that the relevant Gazette notice that the position of the Kurunegala Mayor will be considered vacant with effect from the 31st of December 2022 From the date of the office of the mayor becomes vacant, the power to exercise the powers and functions of that office is vested in the deputy mayor. Sri Lanka's Biodiversity Secretariat says that 81 of the country's bird species are threatened with extinction. Director of the Biodiversity Secretariat under the Ministry of Environment, RHMP Abekon, told the media that Sri Lanka is a biodiversity hotspot with 435 species of birds, and this has been found during a nationwide survey on the Red Data Book of 2022. The director said the birds are faced with the threat of extinction owing to the damage caused to their habitat by humans. The Red Data Book is a public document recording endangered and rare species of plants, animals, fungi, as well as some local subspecies that are present in a particular region. That ends the local segment of news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka has sent a general appeal to all power consumers, namely the public and private institutions, to help minimize the electricity usage when the advanced level examination is in progress, and requested the power suppliers not to interrupt the supply. PUCSL Chairman Janaka Ratnayaka said the Examinations Commissioner General had informed PUCSL to accede to its request and to take action not to interrupt the power supply during the examination and at night, as the candidates would find it difficult. However, the CEB has informed the PUCSL that they were unable to consider the request and therefore said it is the responsibility of the government and the CEB to ensure continuity of the power supply.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
We now take a look at Watchlight. The Road Development Authority has issued a notice to travellers using the Colombo Kandy main road. Accordingly, the RDA warned that traffic in one lane will be temporarily halted on the stretch running from Warakapola to Ambepussa along the Colombo Kandy main road from the 24th of January. Thus, the police have urged the public to use alternative routes during this time period so as to avoid excessive traffic congestion along the Warakapola-Ambepussa road. That came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
The headlines. Russia advances towards 2 towns in Ukraine's Zaporizhia region. US Vice President says no freedom without abortion rights on Roe versus Wade anniversary. Stars on Elisa Marie Presley at Memphis Memorial. Russia state media has reported that Moscow's forces are pushing towards 2 towns in Ukraine's southern Zaporizhia region, where fighting intensified this week after several months of a stagnant front. Vladimir Rogov, a Russian installed official in the region, said offensive actions were concentrated around 2 towns. Orikhiv, around 50 kilometers south of Ukrainian-controlled regional capital Zaporizhia, and Hyrypol, further east. The Russian army later claimed for a second day in a row that it had taken more advantageous lines and positions after offensive operations in the Zaporizhia region. In a speech marking the 50th anniversary of the Roe versus Wade verdict, Vice President Kamala Harris warned that abortion rights are being attacked in the United States. Harris said the now-defunct Supreme Court ruling, which codified abortion protections at the federal level but was struck down by conservative judges last year, enshrined a woman's fundamental constitutional right to make decisions of her own body and not the government. A public memorial service has been held for Lisa Marie Presley following her death at the age of 54. Famous faces, including the Duchess of York, attended the service, which took place at her father's Graceland mansion in Memphis, Tennessee, on Sunday. The U.S. singer, who was the only child of Elvis Presley, died on the 12th of January, hours after being taken to hospital. Lisa Marie will be buried at Graceland next to her son Benjamin Keogh, who died in 2020. To end this bulletin of world news, we take a look at the headlines again. Russia advances towards 2 towns in Ukraine's Zaporizhia region. U.S. Vice President says no freedom without abortion rights on Roe anniversary. Stars honor Lisa Marie Presley at Memphis Memorial. That ends this bulletin of world news.
Development News.
DEMO, a leading diversified conglomerate in Sri Lanka, recently introduced its calendar for the year 2023, which showcases a plethora of unique roads found across the country. It not only depicts the beauty of the island, but also symbolizes the many avenues of life itself. From trade to commerce, relationships and even adventure, Sri Lankan roads tell stories of people's lives throughout history. This sentiment is echoed by DEMO, the growth partner of the nation, whose sectors constantly aim at fueling the dreams and aspirations of all Sri Lankans.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Australian Open 2023 in sports news, Magda Linette reached her first Grand Slam quarter-final at the age of 30 with a shock defeat of 4th seed Carolina Garcia at the Australian Open Poland's. Linette, ranked 45th in the world, won 7-6, 7-3, 6-4 against Frances Garcia, who became the latest seed to fall in Melbourne. She had never before progressed past the 3rd round of a major. Linette, who made just 8 unforced errors in the entire set, took the tie-break with ease before serving out the match after getting the break 4-4 in the second set. Meanwhile, 3rd seed Stefanos Tsitsipas edged out Italian Jannik Sinner in a 3-5-set match lasting 3 hours and 59 minutes on Rod Laver Avenue to reach the Australian Open last 8. It will be a 3rd consecutive quarter-final in Melbourne for the world number 4, who had a boisterous backing. That was sports news.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The graduation ceremony of the Colombo Institute of Research and Psychology will take place at the Sri Lanka Exhibition and Convention Centre on the 21st of January at 8 a.m. The CIRP was established in 2010 with the aim of promoting psychology as a field of study among Sri Lankan students. Over 300 students will be awarded the degree certificates in psychology at the ceremony. Academics from the UK and Australia affiliated to the CIRP will take part in the graduation ceremony. The chairperson and chief executive officer of CIRP, Dr. Darshan Pereira, said the subject of psychology is much favoured in other countries, resulting in good mental well-being and high living standards for the citizens, and the courses introduced by the CIRP will avail graduates of opportunities abroad.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Economic News.
courtesy of LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 goals at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall Gold Award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Indian fabric is gaining ground in the Sri Lanka textile market as imports from India are increasing in the island country compared to Chinese supplies. Sri Lanka's fabric imports from India are witnessing an upward trend as they jumped by more than 50% in 4 years, but its import from China remained almost stable during the same period. Sri Lankan fabrics imports totaled $2.141 billion in the first 11 months of 2022. China and India were the top suppliers with a total contribution of more than 64%. The imports from China grabbed a share of 38.73%, while India's share was 26.01% of the total.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 goals at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall Gold Award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Weather report.
Yes, and finally we take a look at the weather report. The Met Department forecasts showers or thunder showers to occur at times in the eastern, Uva and the north-central provinces and in the Hambantota district. Showers or thunder showers may occur at several places elsewhere over the island during the afternoon or at night. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damage caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. To end this afternoon's news broadcast, we take a look at the headlines again. The Election Commission chairman says the nominations for the local government polls concluded successfully. The PUCSL requests the public to minimize power usage during peak hours to provide continuous power supply during the AL exam. The advanced level exam will be worked off from today at 2,200 examination centres across the country. The HRCSL initiates inquiries into a complaint by the leaders of the indigenous community seeking constitutional recognition. An extraordinary gazette issued dismissing the mayor of the Kurunegala municipality. Sri Lanka's Biodiversity Secretariat says that 81 of the country's bird species are threatened with extinction. In international news, Russia advances towards 2 towns in Ukraine's Zaporizhia region. Sports News Australia Open 2023. Magda Linette reaches her first Grand Slam quarter-final with a shock defeat of 4th seed Carolina Garcia. That ends this afternoon's news broadcast.